Despite how hot it was earlier today, it seems this group has been recharged, has new energy. They seem just as hype as they were in the marches earlier today. We're coming up on Munger, Lamar and Munger. More cars honking. There's a protester skipping. Shows how hype people are. Alright guys, we're hitting the McKinney and Lamar. The goal for this group has been for the past couple of days to go through Uptown. As you've seen before, last night Uptown was full of establishments open, patrons out there willing. And this protest group feels that hitting Uptown and establishments such as there is an effective way to get the message out. We're moving at a pretty brisk pace, a lot faster than some of the other marches. I would say there's probably at least 150. Oh, the one song you'll hear over and over again is YG's Fuck Donald Trump, a rallying song. A fight song. All right, we're still moving pretty quickly. Passing by the Hooters. The energy here is a little infectious. I have to tell you, at the protest I was at earlier today of the Trump one, towards the end, you could tell people were tired. They've been out marching and standing in place, yelling all day. But you would not be able to tell that by looking at this group now. They're moving quickly, they're marching quickly, they're yelling quickly.
Show me what community looks like.
This is what community looks like.
Tell me what community looks like.
This is what community looks like.
No justice.
No peace.
No justice.
No peace.
No justice.
No peace.
Fuck these racist society.
No peace.
No justice.
No peace.
No peace. No justice.
No peace. Fuck these racist. No peace.
No justice.
No peace. Fuck these racist.
Hand claps have not been a usual thing on the protests to keep beat. We are moving fast. There is the chopper above, and it took off shortly after this march started to watch us. We were passing by these locations right here. Huh? Oh, thank you for pointing that out. So, you see this cafe here has put up flyers. George Floyd. Patchworth Cafe has put up flyers for George Floyd.
Shut it down!
This is victory right here. Yeah. This is victory.
All right, they're shutting down this intersection, guys. For those of you who don't know, intersection holdings has been a protest tactic used across the state. Particularly this group in particular thinks it's an effective goal. The goal is to stop infrastructure, stop the free movement, to represent the amount of frustration they have about the current justice system and political system, police system.
I'm gonna shut this motherfucker down.
We don't get no justice. They don't get no peace. You see all these people on their balconies. You see all these people on their balconies.
People on their balconies.
This is what we're talking about. So when I say Black Lives Matter, I want the people on the roof to hear Black Lives Matter. Black Lives Matter! 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 Black Lives fucking matter! Black Lives fucking matter!
That was loud. That's probably the loudest I've heard it in this week. Other days have been loud, but that was almost deafening. There is an energy in this crowd tonight. Either shutting down Trump's dinner early, encourage them. Maybe there's Maybe the successful Trump protests is what's inspiring them. Maybe it's because it's cool and the weather is very applicable right now. It is loud, guys.
Black Lives Matter! 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 Black Lives We're not here so you can get your picture of the protest. We're not here because of any of that. We're here because Black Lives.
Either way, as long as we get together.
it's together, man.
Yeah, you know, as long as we get
I'm
together.
not afraid to say
Same shit every day. So when I say, when Black lives are under attack, what do you do? Fist up, fight back. When Black lives are under attack,
fist up, fight back.
Black lives are under attack.
Fist up, fight back. Fist up, fight back. Fist up, fight back. Fist up, fight back.
Are we doing 842, 843?
People from the balcony yelling down. We are moving down to Victory Plaza, I believe.
Black Lives Matter. 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 Black Lives Matter.
Whose life matter?
Black Lives Matter.
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 Who lives murder?
Blue lives murder.
But Black lives matter.
Black Lives Matter.
And blue lives murder.
Blue lives murder.
And Black lives matter.
Black Lives Matter.
Black lives matter.
Black Lives Matter.
Whose lives matter?
Black Lives Matter.
Whose lives matter?
Black Lives Matter.
Whose lives matter?
Black Lives Matter.
Black lives matter.
Black Lives Matter.
We are coming up on Victory Plaza. We are surrounded by restaurants and drinking establishments that are open. People are flocking to the street to see what the hullabaloo is all about. Oh, Jesus. Something happened over here, guys.
No,
There's an altercation here between two groups of people. I'm gonna get in a little closer, guys. I don't know what's going on.
Come out the restaurant!
There are protesters telling people to keep moving. I have no idea what was said or heard. I don't know what's going on. Oh, I don't know what's going on either. This group is moving. Either somebody threw water at somebody. I can't tell you who started it, what started it, but I can tell you I've seen protest organizers run over there and tell people to keep moving. I did not see what caused it. I did see a bunch of people rush back there. Somebody antagonized somebody. I heard one man who was a protester say they threw water on a protester. Holy cow. All right, so they're able to rally most of the protesters to keep moving. So more than half of the protests had already passed the intersection while the altercation went on.
Hey, y'all, hey! 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 Doesn't matter if you're wrong or right. They know what I was doing because they were trying to help me. How am I so wrong? Dude, I don't understand you. That motherfucker was still getting mad at me. I'm trying to save him. Then why don't you listen to me?
See, tempers are heated and flared. A day of protesting. These people exhausted and tired.
That's what they want to do. Period. And I will do everything in my power. I will look like a psychopath if I need to save these people. Did you see that motherfucker over there? Did you see him over there? Did you see that
Guys, there's a lot happening. This is a long day of protest and marching. People may or may not be at their breaking point. I'm gonna catch up, guys. But what happened back there? There seems to be an altercation at that restaurant. Somebody threw water on somebody, and it got escalated. I don't know if fists were thrown. I was with the front half of the protest group. Turned out and got closer, and I saw that there were organizers shooing people to get closer. Or to not get closer, I apologize. Take that back. There are organizers and people telling protesters to keep moving and to let it go, whatever it was. There are now protesters repurposing traffic cones to block traffic, prevent people from getting All right, I'm trying to catch up, guys. I got a heavy load on today. We are at Field in Nowitzki.
Huh?
You gonna smoke? Alright guys, I'm gonna chill for a second. We're gonna walk and moving pretty fast. There's a truck that does not want to deal with this. It just leaves.
We shut shit down. We shut shit down. We shut shit down. We shut shit down.
Traffic is starting to build up. There is an officer approaching right now. Well,
This is what community looks like. 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 This is what community looks like.
we are at Field and Nowitzki. Field and Nowitzki.
This is what community looks like. This is what community looks like. This is what community looks like. Get your knee off my neck!
Alright guys, I'm just taking a breather. We were moving pretty quick. I need to catch my breath and all that. I know probably
Get your knee off my neck!
Get your knee off my neck!
This is what we say to black men running in the street. Get your knee off my neck!
Get your knee off my neck! Get your knee
Yo, I'll take one. Medic, I'll take that water. Thank you. There's a lot of movement.
All right, we're gonna go. Black Lives Matter!
We are still moving, still moving.
Black Lives Matter! 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 When Black lives are under attack!
So that's a new one, guys.
Under attack!
When black lives are under attack, stand up and fight back, calling for direct action against the forces that threaten black lives.
Infiltrators cannot infiltrate if you know who's to your left and to your right. And if you know they are provocateurs, you throw their ass out. But I need you to link up. Together, together.
Guys.
Look out, everybody. That was real fucking shitty. I don't know what the fuck happened, but that can make the fucking news and make this whole fucking facade we're trying to live, this change of shit, that can fuck everything up. Nobody gives a fuck about anything when shit gets fucked up. So, everybody, hold the front line, stand together, keep it tight, we sound louder, but we can't have a disorganized group with people running over here starting shit with people having dinner and we're trying to get a message across. People ain't gonna vote for that shit. People don't want that shit in their neighborhoods. They're gonna stop this if we don't do it right. So, let's do this shit right, peacefully. Let's stick together, y'all in the front, hold the fucking line. That shit that just happened, does not need to happen again. So stick together.
There's a restaurant back there. And
but don't fuck
somebody
with
was talking
nobody.
shit to somebody. Somebody threw water to somebody, and there was all I don't know who started it. So that gentleman speaking right over there and helped broke it up. But I couldn't tell you who instigated. All right, guys. So you just saw the protest group address the incident that we saw earlier.
I'm gonna say one thing. I want y'all to be organized and I want y'all to be
Sorry, guys. Oh. 1 second, guys. Oh, let me switch it. Dropped it for a second. Shout out to everybody watching so far. My name is Davey J. I'm with Central Track. Please, if you support the coverage that we've had all day, check out the Central Track Patreon, pledge, donate. Gives us resources to keep doing the things that we're doing and provide coverage for you on the ground. For those watching, I'm about to rub the front of my camera lens because I think it's smudged. All right, there we go. The energy is still electric. I'll let you know the next intersection as we get to it. We're at Harry Hines. Harry Hines and Moody. This hill, it's not that steep, but it is tiring. And we are moving, coming up to McKinney right now. So, I'll talk about certain parts I saw earlier today, guys, in chunks. I got to the Trump protest at the Churchill Rec Center. I got down there around 2-ish, but all the streets are blocked off. Hillcrest was blocked off. Tried to go through some side streets to get to Hillcrest. That was blocked off. The only way to get there was Churchill. So winding through the neighborhood for about a mile, and I had to park at Forest and Preston to get over there. We finally make our way to the protest area, and different protest groups are separated by barricades. The BLM protesters outnumbered the Trump supporters by a heavy margin. Maybe like 5-1, 6-1. And there was a lot of there were cops there, 5 horse cops, a line of cops in front of the barricades that were not geared up with helmets or zip ties or anything. And behind them, more and more cops came that started to gear up with helmets, less than lethal ammunition, zip ties, vests, the usual. I didn't see any tear gas canister launchers. I saw ones that had less than lethal attached to the buttstock, but no tear gas. From there, protesters moved to the corner of Churchill and Hillcrest into direct confrontation with the cops. A lot of shouting and yelling was done between them, and the Trump supporters on the other side of the barricade sort of dispersed. Some were opposite Hillcrest from us. They were mixed in with Black Lives Matter protesters as well. There didn't seem to be any altercations there, though I didn't go over to that side much because eventually they stopped letting people through, and I wanted to make sure I was on the side where the majority of the protesters were. From there, there's a lot of chanting and yelling until about 6:30ish, where horse cops advanced and pushed people off the street back into the rec center area. And I'm assuming that timed in with when Trump was leaving the church. And from there, the cops started to leave and a march started.
Hey, shut this shit down!
All right, they're about to shut it down again, guys. Let's see what happens.
Hey, shut it down! Shut it down!
Oh, what wrong button, guys? On. There we go. Got it all fixed. There's the undercover cop. One of these vehicles followed the protest last night, stayed ahead of them.
Let me tell y'all how successful y'all are at shutting shit down.
All right, guys, I'm looking for a trash can to throw away my water bottle. I'm gonna pull another one out my. All right. Just getting stuff out the backpack, guys. Putting water in the front of my flak jacket. Pulling another one to chug right now. 1 second, y'all. Be right back. All right. We're back in action. All right, rehydrated. You never drink too much water out here, guys. The weather is very agreeable right now, but still walking, still getting hot, still having exhaustion. Right now, started fuck Donald Trump chants.
George Floyd! Say his name! George Floyd! Say his name!
George Floyd! George Floyd! George Floyd! Breonna Taylor! Breonna Taylor! Breonna Taylor! Breonna Taylor! George Floyd! George Floyd!
Oscar Grant!
George Floyd!
Say his name!
George Floyd!
I can't hear you! Say his name!
George Floyd!
Say his name!
Breonna Taylor!
So what this group has been using, what they used yesterday especially, is they used when they've seized intersections to take a break, rehydrate, rest. Sometimes they'll have speakers. Seems like the organizers now are the ones mainly talking to keep the morale up. Alright guys, I'm gonna go take a seat at this bus stop because my feet are killing me. Been out since 2. I'm gonna be out here as long as it needs to be, guys. But your man's needs to take a break for a second, real heavy. Oh, there's one right there I can take a step down. All right. Literal taking a load off.
Black Lives Matter! 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 Our streets!
So now they're yelling, whose streets are streets? As I mentioned before, throughout the march, I'll give you heads up on the different slogans being used. You might already be familiar. If not, that'll give you a good heads up. So whose streets are streets, I feel, is a two-pronged meaning. One is the literal, that whose streets are these, because we're on them, because they're on them. Our streets, merely by occupation and being physically on them. Second would be, reminds the populace that depending on what part of the city they're in, that all the streets belong to them. And we're well aware of the different distinctions people make between neighborhoods such as Deep Ellum, Uptown, Lower Greenville, Bishop Arts District, Oak Cliff, and the like. I think you're all pretty much familiar with that. Everybody has different opinions about different people who come from different parts of the city. And the idea of mentioning whose streets are streets is reminding others who neighborhoods you might be marching with that these are also their streets.
We shut shit down! We shut shit down! We shut shit down! We shut shit down! We shut shit down!
Don't Trump, get your ass out of here! Without Trump, you're not having your fun right here! Without Trump, that bigotry won't fly here! So get your ass out of here!
So from what I read is that Trump had left around 7. WFAA reported that he was able to do his speech and fundraiser. I think many on the ground believe that his fundraiser dinner was cut short. I don't know if it actually was. I don't know if it was actually cut, but they're saying he still had it anyways to save face, or if they merely moved everything up in the schedule and he was able to do it anyways. But regardless, protesters on the ground feel like they were responsible for his early leaving. And I feel like that has energized a lot of the group tonight, knowing that they directly, as they've been saying, shut shit down in relation to Trump and his fundraiser dinner.
We shut shit down! We shut shit down! We shut shit down!
You'll notice that protester with the bike right there. What you'll see is that protesters will move off further ahead of a protest march to either block traffic if they're going to shut the intersection down, or if they're going to if they're going to block traffic so people can walk by. So in that vehicle over there with the undercover vehicle, the cop just exited the vehicle and is talking to a driver, I believe.
We shut shit down! We shut shit down! We shut
My apologies for the sniffles, guys. Allergies have been out in full force today. So,
Okay, breaking news straight from Central Trek. A judge has signed an order, and Dallas City attorneys have agreed to it for Dallas PD from using tear gas against non-threatening protesters.
So you heard it here. They're not allowed to use tear gas anymore. Reported first on Central Track. That is a boost of energy.
Let me tell y'all something. That don't stop this though. Don't let this stop. Just because that got written off for work. Don't let that stop us. We gotta keep going. We can't break. You break it, then that means they won, right? So keep going. That don't mean nothing. Woo! Woo! That ain't over. No justice! No peace! No justice! No peace!
Now, what's curious is to see if, as Central Track has reported, the DA.
Just a heads up, the other 3 cops in Georgia and West Florida got approved bail, and one of them's already out. So this guy ain't even supposed to get over.
So, as reported by the gentleman with the loudspeaker earlier, the DA has barred DPD from using tear gas and rubber projectiles. What will be interesting to see is if the protests in the next couple of days, if people still do not bring protection gear, such as the hard hat you see to the left. I myself have a respirator, so do many out here. Gas masks. We'll see.
All right, community, y'all follow us, y'all follow us.
Okay, we're on the move again.
Are we on both sides or what? One side.
So they have now moved to one side. Earlier in the week, they had been trying to take out both sides. And towards the back of the line, we're moving further up. Call the next intersection out when I see it, guys. My feet are stinging. I'm sure I have blisters on my blisters by now.
For what? For doing this? Those are people you no longer need to associate yourself.
All right, we're still moving, still going. There are trail cars behind us. Oh. Excuse me, guys. There are trail cars behind us making sure protesters are safe. One of them I know has a chili bin with water, cold water, snacks as well. We are still moving. Deb, you all right? Deb, you good, homegirl? All right. That's my friend Deb. She came out with her bike today. There are porta potties over there. Don't know if they're. Check out my friend Deb. Yo, Deb, you good? All right, excellent. Okay, coming up on the new intersection, guys. I'll let you know what it is when we get there. We're gonna buy these buildings, though. Do my best to keep commentary up, guys. It's going to be a little light tonight, or we're moving a little bit faster, and your man's just super exhausted. But I will do my best. So we're coming up on 35 right now. If you see, officers have on the other sides of the highway, and you'll see that they'll block off the highway. They don't want Bridge Part 2. So we are on Pearl and 35. Passing by Clyde Warren Park. Coincidentally, it was his father, Kelsey Warren, who was supposed to have that fundraiser today. So, very okay. There's the buildings around us. So officers are here. Okay, right up a little bit, guys, so you can see a little bit more of the crowd. I guess I'm gonna rub the camera lens again. I think it's a little messed up.
Shut it down! Shut it down! Shut it down!
No, I don't have any microfiber cloth either, so I should probably pick that up.
Shut it down! Shut it down! Shut it down! Shut it down!
If you don't get it,
Shut it down!
if we don't get it,
Shut it down!
if Brianna doesn't get it,
Shut it down!
if Diamond doesn't get it,
Shut it down!
if Samir doesn't get it,
So,
Shut it down!
this chant has been, if
Shut it down!
insert name here doesn't get it, shut it down. And each name being a member, a victim of police brutality.
Down! Our streets!
Our streets! Our streets! Our streets! Our streets! Our streets! Our streets! Our streets! We shut it down! We shut it down!
So as I mentioned before, you'll see people on bikes over here blocking traffic ahead of the march. They're now going to shut down this intersection. Pearl and Flora. Pearl and Flora. Your man's just gonna find another seat. I'm gonna move.
Show me what community looks like. This is what community looks like. This is what community looks like.
The lady is dubbed Protest Mom. She's been giving out snacks, following behind in a red car. Keep an eye out for everybody. And as I've talked about many times before, these support networks are built ad hoc, and people just fall into these certain roles and proceed to do the best job that they can with them. Earlier today, there was a medic tent set up halfway through the march from the rec center. It was done by Home Front First Aid. I received a card from them yesterday, but it seems like they've now turned into a more formal organization. They had a medical tent set up with Powerade, snacks, a trash bag, water, and they're asking for donations. That organization is called Home Front First Aid. All right. Yet again, the call for action is stay hydrated. I was talking to a medic earlier today, and he said that he hasn't had to use the bandages that he carries with him but 2 times in the time he's been out here. And that particular medic had been out here, I know, many days in a row. 4 or 5 days in a row. And he says the only thing he's had to help treat is heat exhaustion. So that is a serious thing. If you choose to participate in the protest, guys, make sure you're drinking water the night before. Make sure you're drinking water while you're doing it. And be very aware of the symptoms of heat exhaustion. I don't know any of them by heart. All I know is that dizziness, most of the time medics have been asking, are you dizzy?
You're where we found, or how we found where to meet, like every time we come out.
Oh, super tracks? Oh yeah, no, appreciate it. Thank you very much. Thanks for the kind words.
Get off late, so it's always where they at?
Well, if there's something going down, we'll try and be here. That was a kind person who says they always know where to go by watching the stream, and I'd like to thank all the people who've been watching so far. As always, if you enjoy this content and this coverage, guys, to make it easier for us to come out and do what we need to do. Consider donating to Central Track. You can check out the Central Track Patreon, and that'll be a link from there on the Facebook page. We appreciate your support so far. Appreciate sharing, talking, and the words of encouragement that have flooded me personally and those during these last 2 weeks. So, there's a fantastic breeze coming through, guys. Notice, as I've pointed out many times and like to really stress, protesters aren't taking care of themselves. More people are running up and throwing away garbage. All right, where are we headed now? So we hit Ross and Pearl. Ross and Pearl. Undercover down there has blocked off traffic. 2 undercovers have gone blocked off traffic down there. There might only be 1 undercover, guys. Oh, no, there's 2. See a car driving in support of the protests. I believe I've seen that protester. She's been out several days. We are still going strong. The cool weather, I think, has literally cooled off people and tempers. I think we all remember that Hey Arnold episode where they were trying to tip the ice cream man's truck, and then the water came, or it rained, and everyone cooled off. I think something equivalent happened here with this nice breeze we're getting. We are now hitting San Jacinto and Pearl. We were walking by Chase. So something that happens in organization of protests is making sure you have people in the front setting good paces. You walk too fast in the front pulls away from the back, you get separation. Seems the pace has slowed down a little bit. Looks like there's a number of people here I didn't see at the Trump protest earlier. These guys are trying to troll by yelling out "All Lives Matter." Guess they weren't. Maybe I misheard it. I shouldn't be saying things like that unless I get confirmation. I could have sworn I heard "All Lives Matter" there. So. So I apologize for that, guys. I shouldn't be speculating like that unless I get confirmation. Okay. All right, guys, we are still moving. Coming up on the Sheridan. So I believe they're saying if they convict, send those killer cops to send those killer cops to jail, the whole damn system is guilty as hell. Obviously talking about the conviction rates for police brutality cases, and they need to be convicted and sent to jail, and also following it up with, because of the lack, or because of the belief in the system, the whole thing is guilty as hell. Okay, we are at Bryan and Pearl. Part of me thinks that we're heading right back to City Hall. We will find out momentarily. If you'll notice, you'll see a lot of gear. A lot of people were expecting the worst today at the Trump protest. I've seen more hard hats, gas masks, general protective gear than I have. I mean, personally, honestly, I have a Vietnam flag jacket on in fear of rubber bullets. But as you heard earlier, at the first or second intersection, as reported by Central Track, the DA has signed an order barring the cops from using rubber bullets and tear gas on peaceful protests, which is the caveat. Okay, we are at North Pearl Street and Live Oak Street. One sec, I gotta entangle my cord, guys.
You got water?
Yeah, I got one right here. Appreciate it. You need one?
This is what community looks like. What does community look like?
This is the cage you're supposed to march at.
We were moving fast, dog.
Yeah.
Yeah.
We had anytime we had something back there, we had to run up here every time.
Yeah. Surprised many people kept up with it for as long as they did.
Yeah.
We're coming up now. So eventually Commerce is in the down the way.
Hey, get on the highway. Please don't get on the highway. We don't get tired. We don't get tired. We don't get tired. We don't get tired.
We don't get tired. We don't get tired. We don't get tired. We don't get tired. We don't get tired.
Are y'all tired? We don't get tired. Encouragement to protesters to keep pushing through any pain or fatigue they're feeling. Undoubtedly, organizers know how, are well aware of how long the day is, how hot it's been, and don't want people to feel discouraged. So a simple call and response with, are y'all tired? We don't get tired, can do stuff to mitigate the physical effects that people are feeling. Don't get me wrong, people aren't forcing people to march. There are medics, water, and ways for people to be taken care of. But it is an encouragement for those to push through any slight difficulties they have and keep going. We are coming up on Elm Street.
Our street. Our street. Our street. Our street.
So I'll continue from earlier about my experience with the Trump protests. I left off where cops dispersed after 6:30ish, where Trump had left, and then a march took off. I should say the cops didn't really disperse, but they lessened their presence greatly. And then we took the march, the group formed a march and started going down Churchill towards Preston. Maybe 1 or 2 blocks down, and you can see it on Central Track's IGTV page. There's 3-parter. We, the protesters took a intersection, I believe it was Churchill and Downs Lake, and then had a 8 minutes and 46 seconds moment of silence for George Floyd. And the one thing that's stunning is that the whole group is silent, like incredibly silent, like completely respectful and aware of what a moment of silence is. And something that was very moving was towards the end, people just started shouting out names of other victims. Samir Rice, Philando Castile, Tatiana Jefferson, even MLK, and I think I heard an Emmett Till as well. So it became a remembrance of many different victims of police brutality while everyone's on their knee. And you can catch that. While I was filming it, I of course stayed silent, so to respect what was happening. You can see on Central Track's IGTV page, I'm not sure if it's part 1, part 2. It might be part 2, to be honest. And after that, we kept marching down Churchill, and so we ran into the home front first aid medic tent. Free snacks, free water, free Powerade, trash disposal as well. Well, we are heading, we're taking a left. They might be. If we keep heading this direction, we are going to hit Deep Ellum. And once we hit that medic tent, we continued further down to Preston and took a left. And I will continue that later.
Every single day, every day, every single day, every day, every single day.
We are heading down Main, and once we cross the bridge, we will be in Deep Ellum. We are now at Main and Cesar Chavez. There's a car. Boo! Boo! Cops are on Commerce watching in parallel with the protest. One has to wonder if they're going to prevent us from going to Deep Ellum, if they're merely following the protest on a parallel track to keep eyes on the situation. Yo, can I trouble one of you for a smoke?
Absolutely.
Thank you, brother. We are moving further in the direction of Deep Ellum. I think they're blocking the highway, guys. We're heading further down. About to cross underneath the highway. There was an altercation earlier between some people, but other than that, it's been peaceful. The altercation I didn't even see. Saw that some patrons and some protesters got into it. I couldn't tell you who started it, what was said, but I saw that there are protest organizers who went over to stop it and whatchamacallit, tell people to keep moving.
No peace! Fuck Will! No peace! Fuck these racist ass police! No peace! Fuck these racist ass police!
You'll notice the chants can't change to anti-cop as soon as they pass the police officer.
No peace! Fuck these racist ass police! 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 No peace! Fuck these racist ass police!
The cop has reversed higher up the highway. We are currently underneath the bridge. So, I personally haven't marched through Deep Ellum other than the Deep Ellum riots that happened 2 Saturdays ago, and that wasn't a march, that was me running for my life. We are underneath the bridge. We are pushing further and further into Deep Ellum. The cops are on the parallel street. All different colors and faces participating in the protests. I don't think you can say it slants one ethnicity or gender or race. Doesn't favor. I'm gonna get into the middle of it, guys.
No peace! No peace! No justice! No peace! Fuck these racist ass police! No justice! No peace! Fuck these racist ass police! No justice! No peace! Fuck these racist ass police! No justice! No peace! Fuck these racist ass police! No justice! No peace!
So we are taking a right. I think they do not want to go through Deep Ellum and
Hey, why we going this way, man? Why we going this way, y'all? What the hell? I'm confused on which way they want to.
so they weren't supposed to take a right. All right.
No peace! No peace! No peace! Police! No peace!
This is where Punch Bowl Social used to be.
No peace! Fuck these racist ass police! 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 No peace! Fuck these racist ass police!
I'll try and catch some of the murals that have been done down here, guys, since the civil unrest in the United States.
Fuck these racist ass police! No peace! 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 Fuck these racist ass.
All right, we are coming up on Fedora. Fedora will be on our right.
Fuck these racist ass police! No peace! 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 Fuck these racist ass police! Our streets! Our streets! Our streets! Our streets! Our streets! Our streets! Our streets!
If they gon' feel it, they gon' feel it. Hold straight.
Our streets!
Hold straight.
Our streets!
Hold straight.
Our streets!
Hold straight.
Our streets!
Hold shut it down.
We shut shit down!
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 We shut it down.
We shut shit down!
Hold straight.
We're passing Fedora. All right. Support from patrons. We're passing Pecan Lodge right now.
We shut shit down. 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 This is what community looks like. 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 Black lives matter. Black lives matter. Black lives matter.
We are locking down Main and Crowdis. We are at Main and Crowdis, surrounded by Will Call, Stir, Crowdis Bar. We are locking. We are at Main and Crowdis. Somewhere I'm quite familiar with. I venture into Deep Ellum quite a bit. I work down here. We are on roll call right. Well, we're on Crowd and Main and Crowdis.
They don't get no peace. If we don't get no justice, they don't get no peace. Hey, if we don't get no justice, they don't get no peace. If we don't get no justice, they don't get no peace. If we don't get no justice, they don't get no peace. If we don't get no justice.
justice. They don't get no peace. They don't get no justice. They don't get no peace. If we don't get no justice, they don't get no peace. If we don't get no justice, they don't get no peace. If we don't get no justice, they don't get no peace. If we don't get no justice, they don't get no peace. If we don't get no justice, they don't get no peace.
It's broken out into a celebration.
They don't get no peace. If we don't get no justice, they don't get no peace. If we don't get no justice, they don't get no peace. If we don't get no justice, they don't get no peace. If we don't get no justice, they don't get no peace. All right, we gonna sit down here, goddammit.
Ludacris' fame song, Move Bitch Get Out the Way, has inspired the people to chant and dance. Oh.
Streets, right? We got bodies on this ground right here. You understand what I'm saying? We got bodies right here in Dallas. That we out here for. Y'all let CPD know why we out here, goddammit. We ain't taking no more kills. We ain't taking it no more. We winning in this city. You hear me? Every day, this city is siege. Every day. Every day out here on the streets. And I'm telling you, I need to stay out here on the streets.
Each moment throughout this protest march, when people are getting low on energy, something happens to pick them back up.
Don't give a on the ass because in the last 12 days, we done got more than enough. Some of these motherfuckers that not done for years try to get this shit done. Do not let them think, make you think that protest don't work. This shit works. You hear me? Keep up. Keep moving. This shit let's do this shit, y'all.
organizers deciding which way to go. Continuing down. Mural being painted. So we are passing by now Politics and Points, which were looted in the Deep Ellum Saturday riots 2 Saturdays ago.
What do you do?
We are now turning around. Down Malcolm X, back to Maine. Passing by Off the Cuff. Oh, my bad, we're heading to Ellum. I got my streets mixed up.
George don't get no justice. They don't get no peace. If we don't get no justice, they don't get no peace. If we don't get no justice, they don't get no peace. If we don't get no justice, they don't get no peace. If we don't get no justice, they don't get no peace. If we don't get no justice, they don't get no peace. If we don't get no justice, they don't get no peace.
All right, heading down Ellum. Past Select Start and Vinty right now. We're coming up on Wits In, Dada, OTR, 3 links.
Street!
Passing by Wits End. Passing Dada, OTR, Armory. Peaceful. People are marching down. We have no further altercations. Just taking to the streets of Deep Ellum. Somebody has walked outside from 3 Links to give water. I wanted to shout that out. I wanted to point that out. There were people who worked at 3 Links who are running out to give water to protesters. I have not seen a business or an establishment do that yet. That's a pretty cool thing to see, man. Central Truck. Yes, sir.
I've been here every night.
Yeah.
Except for tonight.
We don't get no justice!
I've been running all over the city watching your video on my phone.
That's amazing,
Trying
man.
to figure out where you're at.
Well, we're in Deep Ellum, man. Appreciate it, brother.
We don't get no justice!
So the kind gentleman saying, oh. Yeah, he's been watching our coverage to find out where the protests are, which is a beautiful thing to hear.
Hey, fuck you.
Michael, let's go. Let's go. Michael.
Come on,
Michael, let's go.
Join in with us.
Well, we just picked up 2 guys. Oh, some of the cool murals, guys. This is off the show. Oh, nice guys. Devin's around here somewhere. Dude, that was real. So now it's a Black Lives Matter flag added. See in the background over there. We're coming down Good Latimer, coming up on Main.
No peace, fuck these racist police! 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 No peace, fuck these racist police!
We are going down Good Latimer to Main. Just wanted to let the protest speak for itself for right now, guys. We are going through Deep Ellum in stark contrast to how I was in Deep Ellum 2 Saturdays ago.
Fuck these racist ass police. No justice. No peace. Fuck these racist ass police. No justice. No peace. Fuck these racist ass police. No justice. No peace. Fuck these racist ass police. No justice. No peace.
All right. Passing by Punchbowl Social.
We shut shit down. We shut shit down. We shut shit down. We shut shit down. Don't touch the cars. We shut shit down. 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 No peace. No peace. No peace. No peace. They don't get no peace. They don't get no peace. They don't get no peace.
We are now coming down Commerce. RBC, Twisted Root, Dots Hop House, Kene Russo, Freeman, Ruins. Coming by down this street as well.
They don't get no peace. We don't get no justice. They don't get no peace. We don't get no justice. They don't get no peace. We don't get no justice. They don't get no peace. If Rihanna don't get no justice, they don't get no peace. If you don't get no justice, they don't get no peace. If George don't get no justice, they don't get no peace. Indict, convict, send those killer cops to jail. The whole damn system is guilty as hell. Indict, convict, send those killer cops to jail. The whole damn system is guilty as hell. Indict, convict, send those killer cops to jail. The whole damn system is guilty as hell. No justice! No peace! No justice! No peace! No justice! No peace!
We have hit Ellum, we have hit Main. This is the last street to hit.
No peace! Fuck these racist ass police! No peace! Fuck these racist ass police! No peace! Fuck these racist ass police! No peace! Fuck these racist ass police!
Connection. It cut out because of bad connection. I'm still out here, homies and homegirls. So there's the stack. We know that was going up. You haven't been down to Deep Ellum in a while. That's how far they've elevated it or built. They're coming up.
Are y'all tired? Are y'all tired? Are you tired?
We don't get tired. 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 We don't get tired.
Tell me what community looks like.
This is what community
What's up, Michael?
This is what community looks like.
Tell them what community looks like.
This is what community looks like.
Tell me what community looks like.
This is what community. This is what community looks like.
Tell me what community looks like.
This is what community looks like.
Tell me what community looks like.
This is what community looks like.
Tell me what community looks like.
This is what community looks like.
All right, we've just passed Ruins.
This is what community looks like.
Tell me what community looks like. Black Lives Matter! Black Lives Matter! Black Lives Matter!
Black Lives Matter.
Black Lives Matter! Black Lives Matter!
Passing Angry Dog, St. Pete's, Uncle Ubers.
Black lives are under attack, what do you do? When black lives are under attack, what do you do?
Peace up, fight back.
When black lives are under attack, what do you do?
Peace up, fight back.
When black lives are under attack, Our streets! Our streets! Our streets! Our streets!
All right. All right, so you see the crowd has not stopped. We've gone up and down all the different ways. Deep Ellum. Energy is still high. Energy is still amped. We picked up looks like a couple people joined the protest as we went down Ellum in Maine.
Our streets! Our streets! Our streets! Our streets! Our streets! We shut shit down! 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 We shut shit down!
We're trying to protest. We're not trying to listen to your music, sir. We're trying to protest. Like, can you turn your music off? God
Coming back up, Malcolm X. I mean.
Shut it down!
So the end goal might be back to City Hall. I'm not sure when or where we're going to do that. I don't know how long this protest plans to go. It's already long as it is. There's a cop right there. So we've been looping around Deep Ellum so far, guys. We've done one loop. I don't know if they plan to break the loop this time or if to keep going.
Shut it down!
right, we're shutting down the same intersection of Main and Crowdis. All right, guys, I'm gonna set the camera up so I can watch. Well, maybe not there.
Stretch it out, guys. Stretch it out, 3/4.
All right. I'm gonna set it up to watch, guys, so I can get some water. All right, guys, I'll be back. I'm just getting some water. Alright, guys, I'm gonna go find a garbage can. Alright, we're marching back. I can only assume now at the City Hall.
This is what community looks like.
In case it wasn't already apparent, I can't see any comments, guys, so I'm keeping the commentary a little light tonight. It's been a long day for myself. So we are coming back down past Taste Easy Slider, heading down Main. Did you drop something, dog? Marching back down Main in the direction of downtown Dallas. I can only assume the City Hall. I have not heard any word or anything if these protests are planning to go deep into the night, but you never know. The crowd hasn't been in good spirits. Each time we stopped to hold something, there was dancing and laughter and celebration that broke out, which really always helps to increase morale, keep people hype. Yet again, are y'all tired? We don't get tired. A way to keep people up and moving. Still maintain the mass of protesters to finish the night strong. Coming up on Good Latimer and Main. So, the last bit of my story about the earlier Trump protests. After we came down Churchill and took a left on Preston, we ended up at Forest and Preston, and then did something that I had never seen before, which was a march through the Whole Foods there. People formed like rows of 3 or 4, marched around the whole Whole Foods, yelling and chanting, and making their way to the exit. Before we went in, organizers were shouting to make sure not to loot, not to steal. I've never been a part of that before, but I have to think there was a strategic reason behind it, as well as bringing a protest directly to the group, but bringing a protest might march directly to a storefront, but a strategic AC break, which I think is kind of ingenious. And from there, we wrapped up around and took Forest back to Hillcrest. And unfortunately, it was at this moment that there were several altercations with cars, either cars advancing on protesters or I didn't see all of them start. I just know there was antagonizing on both sides. And particularly, there was this gentleman on a Harley who took off through the intersection, through protesters aggressively, did a U-turn, came through the intersection one more time, and then took a right, and then U-turned and came through the intersection once more while they were seizing it. Very fast, very quickly, and without really a care for where the protesters were standing. This has been a long one, guys. A long day. My feet are yelling. But we are still moving, and I'm here to give you the coverage you guys need and deserve. All right, we are under the bridge, heading back downtown. As before, there are cops on the left and right blocking entrances to the highways. In the marches I've been in the past 4 days, jumping on the highway again has not been seen as an effective goal or really been talked about. But I can see why the cops are worried, because they do not want another Margaret Hunt Bridge incident. You can tell the energy has maybe come down a little bit. I feel like a majority of these protesters were at the Trump one earlier today. Some obviously came later at 8 o'clock when this march started, but it was a long day for protesters in Dallas. All right, we are coming down. I'm about to hit Cesar Chavez off of Main. Cesar Chavez in Main, for those still watching. And for those still watching, I appreciate the support, guys. Thank you for everybody still tuning in. My name is Davey J. As always, to support this coverage, support what we're doing out here, please consider donating to Central Track. Check out the Central Track Patreon. Allows us to keep the resources we need to keep doing this and be on the ground as we have been for the past several days since this has all started. Thank you. But we're still in it. All right, Cesar Chavez in Maine.
streets. Our 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 streets.
I'm holding up pretty good, if anybody's wondering. Each step is another. Oh, my feet, man. My feet must look like craters right now, man. I can only imagine some of the protesters are feeling the same way. I see a lady at front head in heels. Shout out to her being in heels walking this. That's determination right there.
Shut it down. We shut it down. Who shut it down? 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 We shut it down.
Coming up on Pearl.
What do you do? When black lives are under attack, what do you do?
Stand up, fight back.
When black lives are under attack, what do you do?
Stand up, fight back.
When black lives are under attack, what do you do?
Stand up, fight back.
When black lives are under attack, what do you do?
Stand up, fight back.
When black lives are under attack, what do you do?
Stand up, fight back.
Bitch, stop!
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 Fight back.
Officers are still following us parallel.
Fight back. Fight back. Fight back. Fight back.
We'll see cops come around that corner in a minute.
Fight back. Fight back. Fight back. Fight back.
All right, there's an officer down there.
Fight back.
Another undercover.
Fight back.
Getting a little closer. All right, still moving. Hey, too much, 2 minutes. Thank you very much. 1:45, cool. All right.
Get your knee off my neck! Get your knee off my neck! Get your knee off my neck!
Trying to get in the middle of it for the last of it, guys.
This is what we say. When they say we can't breathe, we say we will breathe. We will breathe. We will breathe. We will breathe.
We will breathe.
You will breathe.
We will breathe.
We will breathe.
We will breathe.
I will breathe.
I will breathe.
You will breathe.
You will breathe.
We will breathe.
We will breathe.
We will breathe.
All right.
Fuck Donald Trump. 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 Fuck Donald Trump.
At this point, you have to admire, I think, the determination of these protesters. It's been a long day for some of them. Some of their days started at 1 p.m., 2 p.m. We've been standing in the sun, marching. Dallas protesters are fed up with the current state of things and are out here demonstrating their First Amendment rights.
Fuck Donald Trump.
Fuck Donald Trump.
That's what we said when we had the meeting at the church today. Fuck Donald Trump.
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 Fuck Donald Trump. Fuck Donald Trump. Fuck Donald Trump. Fuck Donald Trump. Fuck Donald Trump. Fuck Donald Trump. Black lives matter.
So those bikes rev up their engines for the crowd. A horn honker too.
Why are we here? Why are we here? Justice! 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 And if we don't get it, shut it down! If we don't get it, shut it down! George don't get it, shut it down! If Brown don't get it,
That was some pretty powerful yells right there.
shut it down! You don't get it, shut it down! You don't get it, shut it down! Kevin don't get it, shut it down!
You can hear the anger in people's voices. The state of affairs, the policing in this country, and to the current president of the United States. So propelling these people to continue protesting this late from the 1, 2 p.m. in the afternoon all the way now to, I believe it's 11:44, 11:45. We are still moving. We are on Main and Hervé. We are taking this intersection.
We shut shit down. We shut shit down. We shut shit down. We shut shit down. You shut shit down. We shut shit down. We shut shit down. We shut shit down. We shut shit down.
I'm gonna find a nice place to sit, guys. There was a light coming from that building. I don't know if it's support or an antagonization. It's not a word, antagonizing. See, the medics are still out here in full force, guys. People are still looking out for each other. It's late. People know that. It's tired. People know that. If we're going to City Hall, we're not that far. There's a little woman over there who's took her shoes off to march in the Dallas streets. I think that's super brave. All right, so we are going to City Hall. I have to admit, I love that phrase as a way to pump up the crowd, but I'd be lying if I didn't say I was tired AF. Oh.
Hey,
That's old, what's his name? The homie who had 2 cell phones. So they're playing his joint, Don't Get Tired. Another way to use music to influence and help encourage the crowd. All right, we are further down. Hit you with the intersection as it comes up. We are in Maine and Akron. Going further down Main Street.
Show me what community looks like. This is what community looks like. Tell me what community looks like. This is what community looks like. Show me what community looks like. This is what community looks like. Tell me what community looks like. This is what community looks like. Y'all look damn good doing it.
If we're hitting City Hall, we're gonna have to take a left here eventually. And we are taking that left off of Field Street. Field in Maine, we've taken a left on Field by Ravenna and Brad Zeppelin. Apologies for the lack of commentary so far, guys. I am using all my energy to keep moving. And hopefully you can get a no commentary look at the protest. Appreciate anybody still watching out there. Huh? Back to City Hall. Which should be 2 more streets down this way and to our left. Like less than 10-15 minutes. Commerce and Field.
Hey, will you give me one?
You got a bad bitch, but you still ain't white. This for the crime on sight. You see red to the mind, bring a knife to a gunfight.
So guys, I'm gonna go get, it's gonna look boring real quick. I'm gonna run and get some smokes. Sorry if this is not the content you signed up for, but I need to get some for after all this. Right behind you, brother. You good, dog? Excuse me, sir. Can I get 2 packs of Marble Blacks? Short menthol, please.
Beer.
Yo, shit on, bro. Sorry. Here you go, buddy.
Appreciate it, man.
Thanks anybody who put up with that. Get myself situated real quick, guys. They're on the move. The final march to City Hall. A long day of protesting, testimony, people angry, but at times jubilant, times of altercations, heated words, heated temperatures. But a core group of protesters who are in it for the long haul and have marched many, many miles tonight. I think it's fairly evident for those who've watched the whole stream or multiple streams today, or even just the past couple hours, that this movement and the people who make it up are willing to come out here day after day after day in the hottest of heat to demonstrate, make known their grievances against the status quo of policing in America and the current United States government, as well as local government, state government, any and all between. And if that isn't American, I don't know what it is. You hear protests organized at the front, calling for pace modification.
We did a lot today.
We did do a lot today, brother.
It wasn't an average day, bro.
No, it wasn't, man.
We didn't have all our people, but we had enough.
I feel you. I'm streaming for Central Track right now. You mind if I ask you a couple questions real quick?
Go ahead.
Go ahead and introduce yourself, brother.
You can find me on Facebook, Charles Q. Foster. We have a Facebook page, Shut It Down.
So, in the past 3 days, starting on Monday, this group has coalesced around the 6 p.m. marches from City Hall. How do you feel about the fact that as each day has gone on, it's gotten more and more organized?
Well, after the first protest, I drove to Minnesota because I have about 30 to 40 friends that live downtown that have businesses and homes that got fucked up a little bit. And when I went to Minnesota, they got on my Facebook page and cussed me out and talked real bad about the looting and the rioting and got on my ass. So I got in my car, got my cousin, drove 13 hours to Minneapolis to figure out what was really going on. When I got there, I figured out that the KKK and the cops were a unity. Went to the Capitol in Minneapolis and protested with the Minneapolis people. After the protest, they had National Guard and the cops there the whole time. Not only did I see president statues, not one bit of diversity on their police squad or their local National Guard. We went to our hotel, spoke with some people that are actually from the community. They had just notified and told us that the KKK had kidnapped 2 black women. This happens every day there.
In Minneapolis?
In Minneapolis. St. Paul, whatever you want to call it, the capital of Minnesota.
The Twin Cities.
So, not only did they kidnap 2 black women, which they do on a regular, black women are scared in their community because, guess what? One of the black females was killed and left dead in her car by the KKK. So the next day we went to George Floyd's memorial, heard from his brother, and got another ear on the streets. Once we got back to our hotel, we talked to some people in the lobby. They told us that KKK and the cops had a shootout over the death of that female in their community, the South Dallas of Minneapolis.
Okay.
With the Kings. So, and we also found out that KKK drives all the way up 35 through Oklahoma, Kansas City, Iowa, all the way to Minneapolis, all the way up to Illinois, recruiting. And they're here in Pleasant Grove and they're in our local communities, as y'all know. So, not only do we need reform with the police, but we need reform with our local government and our international and national governments. So this movement is not only to defund the police here in our local community because they gave them $500 million while they gave less than $25 million to education, housing, and homelessness. So go online and look at those stats, how they funded the PD. That's what we mean by defund the PD.
Well, can you tell me about the fact of today's protest specifically, since it's been a long day for a lot of people here? How do you manage morale and keeping people
Donald
together?
Trump's dinner gets canceled and he flicks us off, I'll just leave it there. He's an antichrist, I believe. He's prejudiced. Let me get with these people, figure out what's going on.
Appreciate your time, brother. So, the gentleman Charles has become one of the de facto lead organizers of the protest out here for these 6 p.m. ones. Just got a couple words from him.
Black lives matter! Black lives matter! Black lives matter!
Okay, we're in front of City Hall.
All right, community. All right, community. Tomorrow, have an announcement for you all. Tomorrow, we will be here again at 6 p.m. Will we meet in the same area? Okay, we will meet in the same area. We still need medics. We still need people. We need protest moms. We need everybody to come back, bring a friend.
Friday. They ain't got to
So
work
they can
tomorrow.
fill us in these streets. Fuck this tonight. Peace and love.
Thank you for putting this
Power to the people.
Thank you.
I'm gonna go jump in, guys. Photo. My feet deserve it. I see all different walks of Dallas, different slices of Dallas life and peoples. You know, there's gonna be people here from outside Dallas. You're gonna see many people out here.
Power to the people!
Power to the people.
Power to the people!
Power to the people.
Power to the people!
Power to the people. Say his name.
George Floyd.
Say his name.
George Floyd.
Say his name.
George Floyd.
All right, excuse me, brother.
Everybody make sure they take somebody with them to their car or get walked to their
Can you
car.
hear me
They are kidnapping
drop off at the
people.
9s?
Yeah.
All right, guys.
Make sure nobody's following you home too.
I'm gonna end it right here. I'm pretty much beat, probably burnt. It's been a long, long day for myself. I hope that I was able to get you the coverage and get you the stuff you needed to see. Help put you there. Help put you there when you're thinking, what are these protests like? Really demonstrate how Dallas protesters and Dallas people are coming together to fight for systemic racism and injustice, you practicing their First Amendment rights. I know there's some things that we saw today that were touch and go, but I feel like protest organizers were doing their utmost to diffuse situations and keep everything moving. Appreciate everybody watching today. Anybody still watching, I'm gonna go ahead and sign off now. Again, my name is Davey J. I'm here for Central Track. If you like what we're doing, please support us. You can check the Central Track Facebook page for any additional info. We'll sign off for now, guys. Love y'all. Bye.